Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another live stream / recording of Hearthstone. I'm just gonna call them live streams if I can remember to only call them that, since just the recording is always gonna happen anyways. I am starting late today because of, well, other obligations not really around this channel, and we only have to get 2 things done, but even at that, I think it might be a little bit of a trouble. No, actually not. We can play Rogue and we can play Mage cards. Let's see. Let's do some quick checks. I know in a couple of days the expansion is going to come out, so maybe we can't see the new cards yet, so I can't do anything with that because that would desperately change our recording. And let's just make sure there's no solo adventure thing that got snuck in here. Nope, no solo adventure snuck into the game. In fact, I don't think we're gonna ever see any more solo adventures again. If that's what they're saying. The creators of Hearthstone. So then the arena stuff, there's nothing special about that. So all I have to do really is play the cards I need to play, and I can make a deck just real quickly to do that for Rogue and Mage cards. We don't even have to do anything special, so let's start with just Rogue cards. Rogue cards.
If you make a wild deck, you can only use it in wild games.
And then now I can click all of the 0 cards and the 1 cards and have a incredibly cheap deck that only really suffers from the fact that I might die before I can play all 30 cards, but not any other real issue. And since I don't really care about my rank, I can just play it. Rank, wild, rank 23, custom, begin, play wild, jump in there. Let's see. What was taking in the most amount of my time today is I'm building, as part of a secondary spin-off of a larger project, I'm building a arcade fight stick into a cheap Walmart table that is the right height for either having it right in front of you when you're sitting on a sofa, or for a little kid to stand up to it or sit in front of it. Now the stick I have right now is a little too short in my opinion, so I'm gonna see if I can find some kind of extension or just a replacement set maybe in the future. I'm actually running out of time, and because I'm under so much pressure, the whole project, this spin-off project and the bigger project, does kind of feel oddly like just a failure, because I just don't have enough time to do the proper amount of testing that I would like to do.
You're not that sharp.
Let's see.
Astounding. Job's done.
So yeah, there's definitely an issue where I'm gonna say, here's this, it's designed to be a gift, I'm gonna end up giving it to somebody, and it's the retro pack, which plays old games, but I'm not sure if the old games are actually gonna work. Like, there's about 1,000 that I've spent a lot of time spending a lot of time working with and sorting those files from what could have easily been 10,000, maybe as high as 40,000 if you include all the ZX Spectrum games that kind of.
The time goes. Job's done.
I totally screwed that up.
That didn't quite hit the mark.
And getting arcade games to run versus getting a NES game to run is very different. For the most part, NES games just run. Super NES, some of the prototypes or some of the ones that require mouse support seem not to run. But I'm crossing my fingers that everything else does.
Union with taunt is
Getting
in the way.
all of the things to figure out. There's a lot of moving, controllers around and setting the buttons to something that is more modern and more realistic for playing on Xbox 360 controllers style gamepads. Some of which you can get around, some of which you really can't. I was playing Virtual Boy games and like Telero Boxer, for instance, is crazy because there's a left D-pad and a right D-pad, and you kind of need to use both of them because the left D-pad controls the left arm and the right D-pad controls the right arm, and then you have to use the left trigger to throw a punch and the right trigger to throw a punch. It's just the most insane layout ever as far as buttons. Oddly, I've found out that you can play Virtual Boy games in 3D if you have red and blue 3D glasses, even. Which
Justice is
quite
mine.
an interesting thought. I should have played this actually, because I'm potentially gonna die. The Raspberry Pi 3 Model B has some major overheating issues in some instances, but I think it's because I enabled the overlay feature, non-screen overlay feature, to make it look a little bit fancier, and by enabling that feature I think I was pushing the very limited graphics card beyond what it could do. That wasn't a ton of road cards, but we're making progress. And so I'm not overclocking it. If anything, I might consider underclocking it if I had more time. But I need to be done with this project by the end of this week, and I'm just out of time. And it sucks. It sucks when a project that was something you were just doing for yourself falls apart, and all of a sudden has a deadline.
Can escape my fury.
Of course, it always has a deadline. The deadline was Christmas, so even if things hadn't changed, I still would be very much under the gun. But I think I can get it done to a certain level, and if problems arise, I can certainly deal with it later. One of the fake games that was kicked off Steam, I just aired the spotlight for it, called Break into Zatwar, Z-A-T-W-O-R. I'd recommend everybody look at that just to see how awful a game is. Even at that, though, I didn't for a second think that was a thing.
You're not that sharp.
Like, I thought it was totally like just a regular game. This guy has nothing but renounced darkness. Interesting. I wonder what that will do for me. Place your hero power and warlock cards with another class. Many classes. The cards cost one less. I don't think I have any other than this one card. So if I play it once, we'll just replace that and maybe replace my hero ability. Interesting. And since I'm so busy,
this time.
That I really haven't been looking at the news. Not that there is a ton of news. Anyways. Hearthstone is talking about this new boss called AFK that literally is just a character that does nothing and has 40 health. But
versus Malfurion.
I don't think any of that's available until later this week, so I think they're just
None can escape my fury.
hyping. And I'm pretty bad in some instances of going AFK. Last post-show, I logged in with my secondary account and played myself to get some victories. I think going forward I'm gonna do more of that. I think I was supposed to have been doing that anyways, and I simply got, what would be the word? Got a little distracted at some point, forgot that I could do that. As for other people, challenging other people and playing other people, it's not even really worth my time to do that.
Justice is mine.
When it's just random people. I'll play people that want to play me, but I don't want to play with just randos. And randos, you generally don't want to play with me or anybody else. The other thing on the RetroPie that makes it feel like a failure is that Nintendo 64 playback and PlayStation 1 playback, while works, it only really works in a theoretical more than it works in reality. Nintendo 64
Justice is mine.
At best,
Justice is mine.
Very limitedly supported on a very few games, and PlayStation doesn't have the greatest selection of games that I'm looking for anyways, because I'm looking for kids games, not and iconic kids game is at that, so I'm not looking for things like
Justice is mine.
Mortal Kombat or something, obviously. Adult, mature games. That is also true on arcade games, is that the vast majority of arcade games are fighter games, Street Fighters type stuff. And if you're going for very young kids games like me, fighting games really don't work that way. Tales from Monkey Island ended up in that way too. It's amazing how sometimes things just come out. On the other hand, I haven't done any scheduling in a very long time, so I wouldn't be really surprised if it turns out that I have missed the scheduling something, and I need to do that. I'm also not making any progress on Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm also not making much progress, or very oddly making progress in Insomnia situations too, where some days I've managed just to stay up for 20 hours, 24 hours, and just do 1.5 days, or maybe even 2.5 days on some instances. Let's do this. And then do
Time to die.
Justice is mine.
Guess I could have refilled that. So yeah, I'm not sure how awake I'll be when I need to be awake, or whether I'll be awake or not. far as dealing with insomnia. Okay, and I've looked through all the new news since the last time I looked at the news. And
Justice is mine.
And you can see this guy's playing like Jade Golem. I imagine for at least the new year, I'm not gonna have a lot of people come on the chat to watch. That being said, my last stream did have a lot of pickup after the fact. Like, a lot of people started seeing it and started watching it after it was streamed.
Behold,
which seems
the
weird,
rage
but
of the
okay.
Firelands.
I'm not sure exactly what caused that. I did have a thought that maybe when I get bigger, I'll put in the YouTube chat just codes for games as giveaways. Although maybe that's illegal. I don't know. I'd have to think about that and see if.
Justice is mine.
So can you just in your chat tweet out a code to a Steam game and not have to deal with the legality of all of it? Or at a certain level, I think you can get away with it. But once you get bigger. Anyways, first news, Humble Holidays Jingle Jam donates 100% proceeds to charity. That's not really news, we had already touched about that Humble Bundle. I'll look at it when I get over there to see if to see what games are available, because at the beginning it only listed 5 of many more games that was going to give away. Some streamer has gotten away, at least for the moment, but I don't think they're going to get away with it very long, of live streaming the pay-per-view fight of a UFC game by holding a controller in his hand and pretending like he was playing a video game. I imagine what this happened here is he did this on Twitch and he's not partnered on Twitch.
Versus Jaina.
Let's see if we can get.
You asked for it. None can escape
It was the
my
Max
fury.
Holloway versus Jose Aldo. I assume it's Jose Aldo fight. So he's pretending live footage was in-game footage from the latest EA Sports UFC game, UFC 3. Let's see. And he's certainly getting a lot of coverage of it. Let's see, in this, yeah, he did it on Twitch, and that's the reason why he got away with it, is because Twitch.
Feed the fish, landlubber.
And see, this might destroy Twitch, which we really don't need Twitch to be destroyed while YouTube is also falling apart at the seams. Just to be realistic here, it's like we kind of need the competition so they work against each other.
Feed the fish, landlubber.
Darn it. Could have attacked, but whatever. I'm all about playing cards. Let's see, the Humble Jingle Jam bundle gets you $847 worth of games for $35. I might fall into that category. That's gonna be kind of hard to calculate though. Capcom announces Mega Man 11 and re-releases all 8 Mega Man X games. So finally they're moving on from the Mega Man X games. Let's watch what the trailer looks like on that, because I've been trying to get into Mega Man. I'm not sure if I can really do it though. Let's see.
Justice is mine.
They're showing all the old games. So Mega Man 11 30th anniversary trailer. I imagine there's probably some different versions of Mega Man games too. That would make it even
Justice is
more of a
mine.
consideration to try to do different versions of it. I'm not sure at the core of the concept though. I like Mega Man. The platforming always seems to be too difficult, and the amount of interactions are just very old-fashioned as far as the way you mostly fight insignificant minions, or you're fighting very significant bosses, but the very significant boss is always at the end of the level, and you know that going in.
Justice is mine.
See, I'm trying to wonder if this trailer that shows this level select is an actual level that will be in the game as like an Easter egg, or if this is just for the advertisement, because you're having to walk quite a far distance to switch between different levels getting mentioned.
An incredible discovery!
And now they've gotten to the point where they're just listing every single version. There's so many different things. They really turned it in Mega Man 10 into more of a Pokemon game, and the Mega Man X Battle Network series in particular wasn't even using the same Mega Man stuff.
You're not that shy.
Justice is mine.
I don't know how I'm winning here on this Hearthstone game. And so they got to 2016 and 2017 in the trailer, and that was 3 minutes of a 4.5 minute long trailer. And I'm not sure any of this is Mega Man 11 though.
I ain't nothing but a hound dog.
2018 question mark. And now I see new footage, and you know, this looks good, so maybe Mega Man 11 is the place to start. It looks like modern 2.5D style animation, where it's 2D but 3D models. It's a flat plane on the 3D models. It looks like smooth jumping, platforming, shooting. It still feels very much like Mega Man from what I'm seeing, but
Justice
it also feels very improved, very realistic. Now, of course, isn't this also from a different person than whom who made Mega Man before, because the person who made Mega Man before already made that horrible Kickstarter game that I can't even remember the name of. That was supposed to be the spiritual successor of Mega Man, but was completely insulting and awful. Well, I guess Capcom's gonna do better by the Mega Man 11, at least hopefully they will. Yeah, we're not gonna have a lot of news, I can tell already. I'm opening the same page twice. A lot. 10 more cards for the road need to be played, and then that'll be done with this one. Let's see. Gamefly has leaked a THQ Nordic game called The Raven HD. There's nothing else really known, so this might be a game that's coming out. The Riot Game veterans have formed a new TV and game studio called Wonderstorm. Focus on story and play.
I will fight with honor.
Riot
None
Games
can escape my
was
fury.
the one that was just shut down, but there's been so many. It was established with funding from the MWM, formerly known as Madison Wells Media, which eventually hopes for, what does it hope for? Let's see. Hopes Wonderstorm to develops and produces experiences in other mediums, including film, live events, and virtual and augmented reality. So they don't. They intend to build AAA video games. And see, we need to go back on the search and just look at Riot Games on the Wikipedia and see what's going on with them. Because I think they were definitely one of the... Let's see. Let's see. On October 13, 2017, Riot Games co-founder Beck and Merrill announced that they are currently working on a new game aiming at experience in video games and esports players while handling it. Riot Games is the League of Legends one that is a parent company of it's owned by Tencent, the Chinese company.
Feed the fish, landlubber.
So yeah, this wasn't the one that got shut down, I don't think. Oh, so instead, they're just expanding. Now when you look at what Riot Games has made, it's Mechs vs. Minions in 2016 and League of Legends starting in 2009, so there's not anything else.
Victory.
Maybe mini games. Called the Astro Timo, Cthulhu Eats the Cookblog, Guy Eats the Rojo, Bits Krakens, Poro Roundup, Ziggs Arcade Blast. So yeah, Riot Games, not one of the ones that shut down, but they seem like they're going to expand, and I suppose that makes sense that they should expand in a way to make different types of games. I only need to play 5 more gold cards. Good. And they've certainly got the money, and it's nice to see some of that funding that they get from League of Legends potentially spent on new AAA games. Now, it is a bigger question and conversation they have in the long run to see where Tencent's influence might be in those AAA games, but we'll just have to wait and see. That is true for any company that is a subsidiary. So the parent company might interfere. We see it a lot in video games.
Life shall bring victory.
None can escape my fury.
It might very well be all the news, or some of the news, most of the news. Let's see. I've got a lot of pages, but I also don't fully have faith that there's actually any news in any of these pages. Cuphead came out with a came up with an update, which is a little interesting, I would say, because I didn't really think of it as one of the games that would get a lot of updates. Let's see. The new update for Cuphead addresses a myriad of issues plaguing the retro platformer, including inexplicable controller disconnection, reconnection errors,
Ready for
fixed
action!
various freezes, fixed infinite control rumble bug, fixed various freezes, improved saving and loading, no longer possible to create a Mugman army. Apparently it was possible to make a Mugman an army.
You're not that sharp.
Let's see, fix rapid weapon swap damage glitch, which I think a lot of people were using that. Slight charge weapon damage reduction. Charge weapon charges now maintained during parry. Now possible to equip secondary weapon, super, and charm from equipment menu. Press 1 to equip. Mr. Chimes does no longer get stuck off or goes off the screen. Mr. Chimes was the flying monkey mini boss at the very end of the game that a lot of people probably didn't even see. And for a strange reason, it wasn't even in the like
You're not that
more difficult modes of the game. Player 2 now appears in the King Dice board game after being revived at the end of the mini boss level. Dice Palace score now properly resets when you're trying the level. Fixed Devil's Goat attack, so it hits ducking players. Oops. So that's gonna change some things. Elevator rugged ridge no longer locks if player 1 dies. A +1 grade now possible for Funfair Fever and Tree Top Trouble. No longer possible to damage the bosses if that are off screen. Fire fixed rare crash when parrying on Carnival Kerfuffle. Fixed round about shots not coming back on screen on select stages. Baron's Von Bonbon death results now properly displays progress at the end of phase 3.
A little cut.
A tango?
So we've already played our 5 row cards, so we'll just finish this game and then we'll go play the mage cards. Dr. Call's robot death results now properly displays progress on phase 1. Fixed various minor collision bugs, various art and animation polish, minor sound effects, fixing polishes, and an added spooky mausoleum announcer, and Touch Fuzzy, get a little fuzzy busy, which is a Super Mario World reference, or Yoshi's World, Yoshi's Island reference. So now when you go in the mausoleum, the announcer will sound differently. And then here, this article is talking about that video of Dark Souls as Cuphead. And sure, if somebody wants to make that game, that would be amazing, but until that actually exists, there's no point in wanting things to happen that won't. So a lot of little fixes, and I probably will never cover another Cuphead update, but it is nice to see that that game is going to be even more playable and get some support. I could imagine that it shows up in esports and it shows up in tournaments at some point, right next to StarCraft or like I don't even know if the most recent Street Fighter games are even played a lot, because they don't get talked about because it's probably a very insulated community. You know, either you're big into fighting games or you're not. And maybe there is something that's a lot better
Justice
known,
is mine.
more played nowadays than what I think would be what should be played, which is Street Fighter.
Hit the lights.
There's a game called Hupsy, H-U-P-S-I, which is a musical children's picture book for the digital generation. So is this a actual game? Not really.
What you want?
No, this is just a rock, paper, shotgun article talking about a itch.io sort of app. You can buy it for $2 at the iThing apps. I don't know why you do that. Moving on. Guillermo del Toro, if I can pronounce his name, is confirmed to show up at the Game Awards. Also, Felicia Day is going to be in a presenter at the Game Awards. And I feel it's only right to point out that her career has just fallen into the trash. Totally. She has disappeared. In fact, her biggest success was playing a character named Charlie on Supernatural, and they just came out with an episode where they basically replaced that character with a different character, and they had already, like a season before, killed her off. And in this most recent episode, they even say the phrase "Sorry, Charlie," just probably as an insult. So there must have been some fighting in the background. And her Geek and Sundry thing that was supposed to be hers, and she was supposed to be in charge of it with Will Wheaton, it's not really hers. It's owned by the same company that owns Nerdist, which is a Chinese company of all things. And they fully lied and made it seem like this is just a brand new great thing that they're doing with YouTube, and YouTube's gonna be so great as we see more and more people create channels that have multiple shows and multiple content. And it wasn't. It was good for a little while. Some of it was good for a little while, and then it got worse and things got canceled, and then they tried to bring in new things and things got canceled, and all of a sudden it has all the problems of a TV channel with almost none of the advantages. YouTube channels are about really the person that owns the YouTube channel. When it's a big corporation that owns the YouTube channel, too much can change. And we've seen that on lots of YouTube channels. It's like when the main guy leaves and there's a new guy, people just aren't interested anymore. Let's see.
So many wonderful poisons.
Deal 2 damage.
So many wonderful poisons.
Return to the cart. It costs 2 less. Interesting. One of the pirate games that was gonna work towards making 2018 the year of the pirates has been delayed. The game called Abandoned Ship has been delayed. I don't even think this was one of the big ones though. And see, so I imagine early
Is someone
2018 is the new delayed thing. I'll watch the trailer just because I know we're not gonna have a lot of news today. It's mostly seems like a boat sailing simulator focused more on the boat than the people and going to different areas. I'm just skipping through the trailer. It's so boring looking. I'm gonna be completely pirate unless it's just a very zoomed in camera, first person focused, main character focused thing. So now I need to play 30 mage cards, and I'm gonna have some extra gold, so it will come down to whether I want to save that gold or not. I think I probably will want to save the gold for the next expansion in particular, but we'll just have to see what happens. Once we start getting cards, I may get caught up in it. Let's play as many cheap mage cards as possible. Go. Play. And hit this and let's see. The Killing Floor 2 has been remade into a custom, has remade a map of the game of a club in the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Or maybe it's the club was called Bloodlines in Vampire the Masquerade. No, it was the name of the game is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. The club is called Confession, and it's been remade into a custom map in Killing Floor 2, which probably makes more sense if some things make more sense. Maybe the makers of the Killing Floor 2 also made Vampire the Masquerade. The Club Confessions is a half vampire, half like sex club thing, so I think that's probably why it would have an appeal in the Killing Floor, because they're trying to be edgy.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
It looks like it has a big dance floor with cages in the hanging up used as lighting. There's an angel being held down by chains statue. There's a lot of like Victorian era furniture and decorations, and suits of armors. Pictures on the wall. Some of the pictures are scary and of vampires. I think some of the pictures actually are direct or retouched up images from Vampire the Masquerade. This might be an attempt to try to do a new Vampire the Masquerade game. That might work.
Let's make magic.
I'm not sure. Like,
Spells
if they do something different and they can get new players into it, that might work. The thing about this being a Killing Floor 2 map is you're never going to get to really even look at this map unless you cheat your way into it. So you'll just be chased around by Killing Floor throughout the whole thing. This almost seems like they were working on this map and they were working on a new Vampire the Masquerade game, and they canceled it in favor of in favor of just saving money, and then they decided to reuse this map for something else.
Finally, a second chance. Smells are fun, so fun.
So now they're finally showing footage of what it would be like as you're playing, and you're fighting just a bunch of horrific zombie-like creatures and shooting them. And it certainly spices up the map a little bit, because alone just walking around the map is not that interesting. I'm not sure if it's changing the way that the zombies are looking or not. The killing floor has a unique appeal to me in that it really is just delivering on what you figure it
Smells are fun, so fun.
Want to deliver on as far as killing zombies. There's no crazy story or anything that you really have to pay attention to. It's just more and more zombies to shoot, and that's all the game is. And I can certainly see some people just wanting that, a constant barrage of enemies to shoot. Certainly that is the case for like Hearthstone. If I had to go through story for every game I played, that would be certainly a killer.
So fun.
That being said, even watching a trailer for 4 minutes, here's saying several of the art is directly taken from deviant artists, and let's see, that the club map is bigger than what it was originally, and it's highly optimized for excellent performance. Okay.
Smells are fun, so fun.
It has a blood-spewing dance floor as a tribute to the Blade movie. You can see we're really struggling for news when that's the news. When I'm just talking about map pack. Let's see.
What to do?
This
What to do?
here. And this here.
I found it first.
There. It's kind of a shame Felicia Day didn't succeed at having a career. Also a little surprised that she didn't come out and say that somebody sexually harassed her. Like, at this point, I'm surprised that more people and everybody hasn't come out in Hollywood and said they've been harassed by somebody. Here's a PC Gamer article for what's a good system monitoring tool. The answer is none. Any program you have running to monitor your PC is just going to raise all the stats as far as heat and CPU usage. So just don't monitor it when you're playing a game. Maybe monitor it when you're setting up your system, but that's particularly why I'm not a big fan of overclocking in the first place. I think stability for the cost of a few extra cycles is worth it, and the crazy overclockers don't, I think, just generally play the same game over and over again instead of trying multiple games with different things. Apparently, FTC just recently finished their warning that they decided to give a couple of YouTubers who basically committed fraud by not disclosing that they own stakes or completely owned a CSGO gambling website, and they were pushing their viewers to go and use it. And the FTC literally didn't bother to do anything, and they should have made it. I'm already now out of this. We can look at this Jingle Jam expansion, but that's it. I need, I guess, 13 more cards played. So the games that have been listed that you can get are Rust, Dungeons of the Endless, Cube, Gary's Mod, Defend Your Life, Goth, Run and Dark Future.
Jaina
Never heard of it.
Jaina.
Gunpoint, Warhammer, Vermintide, Dwarf Helmet DLC,
it is
Telegrad, Rethink, and Guardians of the Ember. So this is on the 4th day of December, and up to the 25th it's going to keep revealing. The thing here is that each of these games I don't believe I own, and unless they are specifically Humble Bundle is specifically looking at the games I already own and only offering me things I don't own, then this might be a case of one I can actually do. Not that I can really afford to do this that much.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
And so after this game, I'm gonna go into the post-show, and in fact, in this instance, since I'm so busy, I'm not even going to stream the post-show, so everybody just has more time there. So yeah, I'm not gonna go into the post-show, I suppose is the right way to say that. I'm just gonna end the stream, and I'm gonna work on some other things, and then I'm gonna come back at a later time and get the things that I need to get done. And it's probably going to be through a lot of AFKing and as much cheating as possible, if I can get away with it. As much manipulation of other players as possible, and technically not really cheating, but because yeah, there's no news. There really wasn't any news at all. And
You want to cast a spell?
it's just gonna be
I want to
more
cast
and
a
more
spell.
of stuff like that.
Sparkle! Someday I'll be just like you!
Yes. Nothing to talk about.
Spells are fun. So fun.
So, just reading articles now about like retro art bounties, which are things they're willing to pay to fix things. One of the main failures on the Raspberry Pi Retro Pi project that I'm working on is I bought a handheld keyboard that has a left mouse click and right mouse click as if they are left shoulder and right shoulder buttons on a controller, But there seems to be absolutely no way to, at a console level, reconfigure reconfigure that so that it would trigger those left and mouse clicks also as a keyboard press so that Emulation Station can recognize them, because Emulation Station just doesn't recognize mice, or at least this mouse. And while there are several programs that will reconfigure a mouse click in the X11 Display Manager environment on Linux, there's nothing that happens like this. You probably could do it with UDEV rules, but I can't figure out how to do it, and I don't have time to continue to mess with it. So at the end, I will probably end up. I need another one of those keyboards too. I'll buy a different model, see if I can find one that does it a little bit differently, and it might work. This whole project, a lot of it had to do with shopping, buying things, and seeing if they will work. Job's done. One last piece I needed for the arcade stick came in, and it was 3D printed, and because it was 3D printed, it just didn't fit. The pieces didn't fit, so I had to pull out a drill and drill it, and then use acetone on the plastic to polish and smooth it so that the hole that the piece was supposed to fit in now actually fits in that part. So what does RetroArch wants? They want a Direct3D 1112 backend for a Direct3D driver. They'll pay $160 for that. They want a front end to host the VFS layer, which I don't know if that's a virtual file system there. They want smartphone gamepad app for remote RetroPad for $25. The front end for VFS is $140, and they seem to bump up these bounties more and more. It's an interesting thing where you could be a programmer, and if you have your own job and you just have a lot of extra free time, you could go find somebody who needs something programmed and just program it and get paid. They want a graceful switching between video drivers for $165, so apparently that's a major problem. They want Vulkan driver support in full screen on GeForce driver 3879.92 is right now it's causing a black screen, so for $50 if you can fix that issue. You'd have to be a high level programmer to be able to do any of that. And you'd also have to have a lot of free time. There we go. So, also the LibRetro forums ran out of hard drive space and got shut down because of it, and they had to bring it back up. We're done with this deck, so we can get rid of it. Not a bad stream. Let's switch over real quickly and just see what I'm gonna do, so people know. Off screen, effectively. Nobody came in the chat, nothing like that, but that's fine. Like, I'm certainly not offering much. I'm busy, everybody else is busy, so in the new year, hopefully more people will hop on and we can deal with that. Playing 20 Beast will be really easy, and let's get rid of this Castle of Spell cards. And playing 10 Pirates will not be super easy, but we'll get it done. We don't have any card packs or anything like that. And I looked at the YouTube Studio Beta again, and they're slowly getting more things in there. to the point where eventually I think it's going to actually, it's actually going to work and be usable. But the one thing that is certainly missing with the new YouTube beta is there's no new stuff happening. Let's trade the win, definitely. Win 3 games with a paladin, play 20 minions that cost 5 or more, or play 30 warlock class cards. So that's not too bad at all as far as things I need to do. There's no right way to cheese any of these daily quests other than win 3 games with the paladin. I can go AFK on that and see if I can get somebody to concede on a casual game. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.